You're listening to the Talk of the Tribe, Wapsie Valley Warrior Podcast, brought to you by Little Wapsie Communications. Their state-of-the-art fiber network is complete in Fairbanks, ready to serve your home or business with the fastest internet in town. Orin Mutual Telephone Company. Serving the area since 1911, Orin Mutual is a modern, independently owned telephone company providing internet and telephone services to Orin, Iowa, and the surrounding rural area. RTC Communications. They are here to provide high-quality, superior service to you, the customer, by offering great customer service and the services you want and need to work and stay connected with family and friends. This is the Talk of the Tribe podcast, coming to you from the center of Warrior Country. Here are your hosts, Zach Favors and Ryker Oberly.
Alrighty, welcome to episode 21 of the Talk of the Tribe podcast. I'm your host, Zach Favors, who is joined today by Ryker Oberly, and I think we said in the last episode, it's either both of us or it's none of us.
Yep.
From now on, you can expect both of us to be here, or you're not getting your weekly episode. But we have a lot to do today, and we actually are double uploading today. We will have an episode upload here at around 4 o'clock-ish, and then we'll have one upload at 7 o'clock tonight. We have two very special guests today, and the first of our two very special guests is head coach of Wapsie Valley Basketball, Marty Mckowen. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great, guys, and thank you so much for doing this. I know that the people I've talked to are so excited about what's going on right now with you guys and the podcast and everything else, so thanks for getting this out there.
Yeah, and, everybody knows this program. This program is a very historic program. It's something that a lot of people in both the Reedland and Fairbanks communities take pride in, is kind of how good this basketball program has been. And, that all starts with you. You've been coaching for a very long time. And, you're running a new system this year. We talked about it a little bit in the last episode. You had 5 seniors start. The starting 5 was all seniors last year. What are you looking forward to going into a new season with a completely new starting lineup?
Well, one of the greatest things about coaching high school basketball, and I've said this probably 50, 100 times when I've been at different places and speaking and that kind of stuff, is that you can have a system and believe in a system, but because it's high school basketball, you don't recruit. And so it's not like the college coaches that get to go out there and say, okay, we're going to do this, and therefore we're going to recruit these type of players. So we get what we get every single year. And the great thing about what I love about high school basketball is it changes all the time. Now, you can have a philosophy that you like man, you like zone, and you like to sprint and that kind of stuff. But to be honest with you, you have to do what's best for that group of teammates that you have that year and that team that you have. So it's exciting, and we're getting week 1 through already and trying to figure out where we're going at in week 2. And for us, it's a lot of figuring out before Christmas. We go and experiment with different things, and hopefully by Christmas we know where we're going.
Yeah, and I know for football, we started in May. We started workouts in May. We started really getting into practices around June, July, and then August hit, and then that was when official practice started. We had a good 2-3 months to prepare for the football season. You're dealing with a week, 2 weeks. Your first game is next Tuesday against AGWSR. So how is that quick, short turnaround that you got to get ready for a season? How have you handled that?
Well, this is one of the quicker ones we've ever had. The AGWSR game is about 4 or 5 days earlier than what we're used to. So it is what it is. They had the same amount of practice days as we do, so it's not like an advantage or a disadvantage for anything else. And, a lot of what happens is what they do, the kids in the off season. What have they done to make themselves better? And, not only as a team but as individuals. So, our kids did a lot of work in the off season to get things ready to go.
Yeah, I can see, I follow a lot of people on Snapchat/Instagram, and I can see all the off-season posts that they have. I just think it's really cool. That not only inspires me to go out and work, because as they say, when you're not working, someone else is. But how do you feel about your former players now kind of stepping up in the coaching staff? Example, Kobe Reese and Casey O'Donnell. I'm in 8th grade. They're going to be coaching me this year, which I'm super excited about. I play basketball, and Love those two.
Yeah, it's very interesting, and I don't know how many years now, but I think it's probably close to 15 years in a row where our 7-12 coaches have all been former players. And so, one of the, people talk about all the time, what are you most proud of, what are you happy with, and everything else. One of the things that excites me so much is watching how many of my former players have become coaches. So, to me and to, to our coaching staff, we feel like we're doing some things right, that if they like it that much, they want to be a coach after they get out, that, we're doing some things right, during the season all the way through.
May I ask, isn't your current coaching staff former players as well?
Oh, yeah. Everybody all the way through. Yeah, we're all the way through. We're all that way, And, we got former players that are out there as college basketball coaches. The one that's doing the biggest one right now is at Chris Jans at Mississippi State.
Really?
Yeah. He's the head coach of Mississippi State, and they just came down ranked 25th this week in the nation, and they've started, I think they're at 5-0 right now. But, again, it really excites me to see, former players that have become coaches and love to coach, and it doesn't matter if it's at the junior high level or Division I level.
Yeah, and I gotta ask, we talked about this with Foster all the way back 19 episodes ago in episode 2, and it's crazy thing we've been doing it for that long.
Yeah, it's been a while.
We say that like we've done this forever. No, we've done this for like 3 months. But anyways, Foster takes pride in preparing guys not just on the field, but to be great influences in their communities off the field. How do you kind of take that?
Yeah, we do too. We talk about with our kids in our first meeting, one of the things we talk about every year is that, on the court, people are watching you all the time, but they also are off the court. Your behavior off the court also reflects directly into our program. And, it's incredible as the year goes. And I told them that I'll receive text messages and phone calls from former players all across the United States. That say, hey, Coach, we saw, and, talk to me all the time about how, they're so excited to watch the season coming up and that kind of stuff. And, when I say that, they come in from, all over the place, and especially now that we can use the live stream. Gives people a lot more chances to actually see us play, which is awesome.
Yeah, and I know for us, even though we have done the live streams, it has been an absolute joy to watch you guys play, especially last year. Mm-hmm. And how do kind of those in-season adjustments, how do kind of those happen?
A lot of them are as we start learning what our players can do and where our strengths and weaknesses are. And like you said, we're returning under 8 points a game this year. And I didn't go back and officially look it up, but I think my entire career, the lowest amount of points we've ever returned. Now, the positive was how many seniors played last year. You don't see that happen a lot of times, that you have that many seniors that played. And we're coming off a season where we won 20 games last year. And I think we went back and looked it up, and I think it was either the 6th or 7th time in school history that there's ever been 20-plus games won, and last year was one of them.
Yeah, and I know something that we have seen over time is that even with last year, you had Andrew Westfall, very good a point guard. He could see the court, kind of feel out what's going on. You had Casey O'Donnell, just a dead-eye three-point shooter. You had Kane Schmitz, a very agile two-guard that can do both. He can play offense and he can play defense. You had Hunter Kane, he was a very scrappy defender down on the baseline. And then you obviously had Mason Harder just doing everything and anything. So how has that transition from kind of that team? How are you kind of rebounding from what you kind of lost last year?
Well, through our first week, we've been actually experimenting with some different offenses that we've been trying to, say that, to be honest with you, I took out the play sheet from last year, and probably 75% of our plays we won't use this year because it's a totally different setup of the players that we have. So, like I said early in the podcast here, it's a big difference every single year. And so we're right now going through those changes. We've been, the last several days, putting in new plays, new sets, and that kind of stuff for these kids so that they can be successful also.
Yeah, I love every single time I go to like a basketball game, I always see you being so aggressive, and like that's something that like I take someone like I go to Wapsie Valley. My coach is Marty Mckowen. You don't have Marty as your head coach of your basketball team. Like it's just awesome to see you like on the court. You're always positive and just talking to your players, and like, how do you keep that mindset?
It's so funny because my former players all told me I've turned so soft now compared to how I used to be. I get that from all the time. Guys that haven't made me see me coach for 8 or 10 years will say, "What happened?" And it is a totally different thing. But anyway, one of the things that we try to do is we tell our kids all the time that if you're getting corrected, that means that we're trying to get you to play better, and it's not a negative thing, even though we're saying, hey, you shouldn't do that, which, some people will sit back, oh, how negative is that? What we're trying to do is make them do things the right way so that they can have a positive turn for the team and that the whole team could be that way. And I'll be honest, one of the things I have changed is I have been more positive in the last few years than I used to be. But, and again, it's just fun to coach them, and it's fun to watch kids take what you tell them and then go ahead and use it and become better players.
Yeah, how do you feel about, like Zach said, last year you had all 5 seniors. You kind of have a young team now. I mean, Landon Molds is one of my good friends. He said that he's gonna be playing, and how do you feel just having that young team, freshmen, sophomore, juniors? Just
the biggest thing they have to learn is the difference on what they're going to play against. So it was interesting this summer. We went to Cedar Rapids Kennedy and played down in the tournament down there with a bunch of. We were the only 1A team down there. Everybody else was 2A, 3A, and 4As, and I think maybe our first 4 shots never got to the rim. They all got blocked, and so you take things like that and say, okay, we talk to you about jump stop power all the time. I'm doing those kind of things, and now you're seeing why we have to do that, and especially when you start playing against really, really good teams as the year goes. Our league is so good. Yeah. And if you're not ready to go, and you're not doing things in that correct way, it's not going to turn out well for you.
Yeah, and something that I think I've heard about this a ton is that with teams, when you play them, especially when you're a young kid, I think I experience this sometimes when I'm playing football and stuff. When you play against some higher level kids, or you're playing against some juniors and seniors, or even some sophomores and juniors when we play JV games, you have to remind yourself that you're on the same level with everybody. There's a reason why you're playing at this varsity level. It's you are good enough, you are capable of playing at the same level they are. So it's not taking yourself down to be oh, I'm young and this is so new and everything. It's just well, you're on the same level, so you can play at the same level, and you should be able to kind of have that confidence. How do you kind of build that confidence within your team? I
think it's just doing things the right way. To be honest with you, because especially when you get to that varsity level, if you're not doing things at that level, you don't get away with it. Would be the best way of putting it. And and if you don't get the help side quick, there's going to be a layup shot. And you can go over and over and over. If you don't block your guy out, the offensive rebound is going to happen. They're going to get 2 points, and so it's that kind of stuff. Just learning to do things the right way, and not 50% of the time, but you're not going to say 100% of the time, because that wouldn't be basketball. But 75% of the time, are you in the right place, right time, getting things done? And
something that we talk about a lot when we're on the streams is that whenever there's a timeout, we're always oh man, what is Marty talking about? Because we know that something's happening down there. We see you talking to your team all the time during those timeouts, and there's so many different emotions. We talk about it with Shepard. We talk about it with Foster when he takes timeouts down there. I've been through football timeouts. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. You never know. And I bet that's the same thing for every sport. But during a typical game, what's kind of going through your head during a timeout?
Well, and it depends, again, on how the flow of the game's going. But, a lot of times what we'll try to do is not overcoach it at a timeout. Maybe take 1 or 2 things, because, it's a 1-minute timeout or a 30-second timeout, and 10 seconds before the timeout's done, they make you get out of the huddle. So, it's got to be quick, and the one thing you don't want to do as a player is to overthink it, because, if you're sitting there and you catch that basketball and you do the 1/1000, by that time people have gone and done different things. So we try to make things a reaction. We talked about it last night, that if we're running our motion offense, if you get overplayed outside the three-point line, it's an automatic backdoor. That was one of the things we talked about last night, and different reads that you make. So it's not that, I say it all the time, 1/1000, that can cost you 2 points or cost you a layup on the other side and giving up 2 points.
And I guess one final thing, then we got to get to our segments, and we got to get you back to practice. But if you didn't know, we're recording this at 3:15. We started during the middle of school day. But fundamentals. We talk about it all the time with different teams. Fundamentals is a big thing here at Wapsie Valley. How do you teach the fundamentals?
So if you would look at a practice plan of ours, like tonight's practice is a 2-hour practice, and an hour of that 2 hours of practice we'll be working on fundamental things. Anywhere from shots to defensive sides. Tonight, one of the big things we're going to work on is getting ourselves out of a trap. How do you do that properly? So instead of trying to coach it as a team thing, and some coaches believe that doing the team stuff, we break down about half our practice into fundamentals, and then the other half of the practice will go into team stuff. So that's what we try to do, is just try to get the kids into the right position so that when it is in the game, the fundamentals do carry on.
Alrighty. We got 2 segments, I think it is. We got a trivia question, and then we got screen time. So we're going to do screen time here if you want to pull out your phone. We told him before, we were actually in the middle of the intro, and we were like, hey, do you got your phone? He's like, it's not on me. All right, well, we need your phone. So he runs her out and gets it. So
if you don't, I don't think he knows what to do. So basically, this segment is about the last how many episodes we've been pulling out our phones, and we got to see our screen time from the day before. So yesterday.
Okay, I don't even know how to find screen time.
So we're gonna go to settings.
Oh, this is great.
Right there. Then we're gonna go down, see if we can find the screen time.
I'd love you guys for teaching me stuff.
Oh, this is great. Is it not there?
Well.
I don't know. You were teaching today, so it's probably not very high.
Yeah.
We'll just, I don't know. We'll just say it's not very high. Hour? Yeah, probably. A little more.
Maybe.
Maybe?
Yeah. Really?
No, I'm not on the phone a ton, no. Now, if you take my screen time on my computer today, I was doing practice plan today, doing practice plan for tomorrow, and doing the play sheet and that kind of stuff. That would be a lot. Or during the season, if you want to do screen time on watching film.
Okay. Well, hey, that's good screen time.
I know, but it is a lot.
Yeah.
Screen time, that's funny.
Alrighty, right.
I don't even know where mine is.
I have 3 hours and 22 minutes.
Yeah, I'm not proud of mine.
What is it?
Yesterday was a Monday, and I still found enough time. I think it was kind of gonna call it out here, but it's Thanksgiving break. I won't see teachers for like a week and a half.
Riker. I already know.
I had my phone on like mid-class. I was getting money on Heyday.
Oh my god.
I wasn't on it. I was just in my pocket on.
Oh no.
So it was just racking up.
What do you got?
14 hours and 18 minutes.
Yeah, I don't have the record anymore. Yes.
14 hours of screen time?
I think I was on my phone like 6 hours of it.
Yes.
Oh my.
Marty is
That's scary.
We've gotten worse.
You're not starting. You're bench. You're bench for
That's really, and I know mine pops up at the end of the week, but it usually tells me like my screen time per day is like an hour, I think.
Dude, you 14x'd.
Oh, here it is. 1 hour and 20 minutes. I found
Look at that.
Okay, here.
I don't have the record.
I'm not even lying. I think I left my phone on last night. I think I charged it and didn't. I got a flip phone, I didn't close it.
Hey, I don't have the record anymore, so I'm cool. All right. We thank you for listening to episode 21. We thank you, Coach McKowen.
Hey, thank you guys so much, and look forward to have you guys doing the games this winter.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be fun.
Good luck on a great season.
Yep.
Get ready for HEWSR.
Get ready to go here. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, alrighty. We thank you for listening to episode 21 of the Talk and Try podcast. If you got to go to practice, you can go.
I'm out. All right, see ya.
I'll take your headset. All right, Marty's out. We're rolling. Alrighty. We thank you for listening to episode 21 of the Talk and Try podcast. I'm your host, Zach Babers, who is joined today by Ryker Oberly.
Yeah,
Pleasure,
boy.
as always. And until next time,
Go Warriors!